Right, today we do the concluding part of our study of ST 313 on the famous Alagaddupama Sutta, the discourse on the parable of the water snake. Now, in our last study, we looked at two very important parables. You can say those are the two most important parables in Buddhism, or even in the history of religion, if you like, but these are very important teachings. We give labels to all kinds of religions, but the reality is you find the good parts of the different religions affect us all, naturally, somehow. If you are good, you will attract good, and you will learn something there. I mean, if you're a good Buddhist, you're a really educated Buddhist. Not a button Buddhist. You just wear buttons, a Buddhist, but inside nothing. There are lots of Buddhists like that. Very sad. Then when you're in trouble, then no one can help. Right? So sometimes you see people, they're very simple. They don't look religious at all. But when there is some problem, they're very calm, they're very peaceful, and they will tell you just the right thing. In fact, you'll be surprised, their dhamma is very deep. So it's like that, you can never know people sometimes unless you're really well trained in your meditation. So these parables are, they compare something very deep to something you're familiar with. Now, first you have the parable of the water snake, you remember. Water snakes are dangerous. They bite you, it's fatal, You can die. And yet this snake catcher can hold the snake by the neck, okay? So here the Buddha is telling us the Dhamma can be fatal, in the sense that, look at what's happening today. So many monks and nuns, and even Buddhists, they're using the Dhamma the wrong way. They're holding the snake by the tail. The snake is biting them. They don't even know it. You see all these monks and nuns nowadays behaving just like lay people, and a little different from lay people. Oh, they're different in a way. They have more things than you and I have. Bigger bank accounts. They even have gold card and platinum card. They have resources, they have cars, etc., etc. You fill in the rest, whatever. So what I'm saying is, any one of you here is better than them because you keep the 5 precepts. You study the Alagaddupama Sutta, the parable of the water snake. Catch the snake by the neck, then you are safe. We're talking about our future, Now, my generation, they're all dying one by one. My sister is very old. My brother passed away already. Now my sister, she got a very bad sickness recently. I told myself, oh no, if she goes, my time is very soon. She survived anyway, so all right. Then there's this other monk, a close friend of mine, who was a brother monk to me in Malaysia. He's very sick. He may go anytime. So we are reminded, we can be still very young, 20, 30, 40, we think, oh, a lot more life to go. And suddenly you fall sick, suddenly something happens, Then you find, oh, what do I do? It's very difficult to learn when, at a late moment, there are people who are, doctor diagnosed, say, oh, you only got a few more weeks to live. And they come for my sutta class, Because some of them are too shy to tell me, I don't even know that's happening. So they sit down there, and then next week, they're gone already. So we got to be ready for this moment anytime. Not that we look forward to death. It's rather we don't know when this mind will stop functioning, you see, and we don't want to wait for that crash point, It's like driving. You don't simply, drive, you see. You judge the distance, when to press the brake, how much to press, how to press, right? How fast to go, how slow to go. Studying sutta is also like that. when you study what sutta, where to stop, where to look up the meaning, where to ask questions. So, understanding the Dhamma properly, right? Not for worldliness. It's very simple. Not for worldliness. It's something. It makes you feel you need less. You're happier with less. Less and less things. More and more happiness. Just like this hot air balloon, you know. Well, for it to rise up, you have to let go of the ballast of the sand, you know. Then the balloon will float up, right? So the parable of the water snake is something like that, telling you how to use the Dhamma properly. Do not misuse the Dhamma. It's not the Dhamma will hurt you, it's the karma that will come back. Karma is not outside you, it's inside you. It's your habit, your way of thinking, you see. All those bad monks and bad nuns, they think negative things, you see. They think of money, so that's what will come to them. That's what they become. So you think like that, you also become like that. So this is our karma. Okay, we have caught the snake wrong way. The snake bites you. Then the other one is the parable of the raft. Okay, they're very similar. These are two very beautiful parables. You know, one talks about how to study it, how to learn it. The other is how to use it. Don't be attached to it. Okay. When we learn Buddhism, like first time you learn this, it's knowledge, it's views. You know, you say, "Oh, I learned this parable of the water snake." You know, so you have a view about it. You say, "Oh, it's like this." Okay, this, that. These are two very dangerous words. So when someone is enlightened, the Buddha say, "He's not this, he's not that." Just like that, very simple words, you know. But when you read the context, it's very profound. Not this. Not that. You cannot identify it. And there's a very special word for this kind of not identifying with anything. It's called atamayata. Atamayata. Not thisness. You don't identify with anything. I am not this cup, I'm not this table, I'm not this clock, I'm not this camera, I'm not this house, I'm not even this body. Because I'm changing all the time, changing all the time. So, you have this idea, right? You say, "Oh, I know Buddhism." You know. And someone else has another idea. You say, No, you're wrong, you know. I learned it like direct from the Sutta, you know. Of course you did, but sometimes we can have a wrong idea of it. The point here is whatever we learn is at that stage, provisional. In a sense, everyone is right and everyone is wrong, but it's no use talking like that, you know. It's just the point is, these are all stepping stones. It's just like you learn A, B, C, and you know how to spell cat. Wow, great thing, you know. But then you find there are big words like catalog, you know, and so on, right? So we begin to build up. We have to let go of the old idea in order for this new one to grow. It's just like the seed. When the seed grows, it must break out of the shell. Like the egg. The chicken, you know, this chicken and the egg, very famous, another famous parable in the suttas. The chicken grows inside the egg. Of course, you have, say, half a dozen or a dozen eggs. Then the chicken must pack from inside the egg. Once the chicken is big, the beak of the chicken has a special, like, covering, you know, very hard. And it will pack through the shell. Then it will come out, and that is the eldest chicken. That's the Buddha. You know, so he used a very interesting parable of the chickens. You know, so the first one to come out, that's the Buddha. Okay. Now the parable here is the shell is ignorance. We must pack ourselves out of the shell. We must get out of the shell into the open space of awakening. You know, so that's another beautiful parable of the chickens. So in other words, the light comes from within us. We are awakened inside, and then we come up. So we come out of the egg, you know. So that's another extra parable for you. So this the Dhamma as a raft is we have come to this we are travelers, and then we have some animals chasing us, some fierce jungle people maybe, and we come to this river, right? It's very safe the other side, but the river, there are crocodiles and stuff, or maybe, well, we can tell crocodiles is okay, I suppose, but you must make a big raft, make sure the crocodile doesn't overturn the raft, So you got to make a big raft, and then here the Sutta say you paddle with arms and legs. Of course, in the river it's just water, okay. But imagine if the water is filled with other dangerous creatures, you got to use a pole, right? So they're also same. It means you got to put in effort. So you row across. That is your practice. Right now we are beginning to build our raft. Okay, we are gathering the materials and so on. So every week we come here, we gather the materials. Okay, and then we are slowly building up a raft. I suppose in our case we are building a big raft, because we are going to cross together. That's possible too. There is such a thing as collective karma, by the way. There's this big debate. Is there collective karma or not? Answer yes and no. There's a wonderful Indian way of answering. Technically, collective karma is not possible, right? Because nobody does everything exactly, you see. But karma can fruit at the same time. It's just like, how should I put it? Each of us are different kind. We have got many seeds. Each of us, black seeds, white seeds. Black are bad, white are good. But at the right temperature, right humidity, sunlight, and so on, the fruit of that kind all will ripen together, all will germinate together. So they germinate collectively. That's called collective karma in that sense, okay? So it's just a term, meaning the ripening, the karma that ripens at the same time. I mean, it's just like we all gather here together to study the suttas. We decided to come with one aim, study the sutta. It's collective karma, you see, because we all want to know the sutta. To that extent, it's collective karma. Even we decide to come and eat together, also collective karma, you see. But how much you're going to eat, when we're going to stop, it's all your decision. So karma is very complicated, right? It's not like very fixed. It's more like all the lights are crossing each other and trajectories, and then where they cross, that is the sameness. So just a way of talking, right? That it is possible to do good together. It's common sense, right? So this is our collective good karma, and because we have been together as friends, we are kind to each other, this is really wonderful. In the future, we'll meet again in the same ambience, we say, in the same kind of atmosphere. If you've been fighting and hating each other, next life you come back and repeat everything. That's terrible. The Buddha has been telling us this story. You know that famous Dhammapada verse, hate is not overcome by hate, only by love it is quelled. This is a truth, a very ancient truth taught by all the Buddhas. All right? So collective karma is real, and it's good to do good together. That's what we're doing. Right? Yet we have to let go of each other. At the end of this, we all go our way, and then another time we come back like that. Right? But we have this wonderful thought for each other. So the Dhamma also like that. See, you practice the Dhamma, but you're not attached to it. Because this Dhamma is your raft to go across. It's like a ladder you climb up. In order to climb up the ladder, you must let go of the step below. Your foot let go, and then it goes up to the next step, and then you step there, this foot, lower foot let go, and then it goes up, you go like that. You go to the top, you don't need the ladder anymore, see? Or maybe it depends, if you have another higher level, you need ladder, it's possible. So the ladder is a slightly different kind of parable, okay? Now, if you say, we don't need all these suttas, there is a cartoon I have, in my computer, where this person saw up the ladder, burn it, just for the fire. After that, cannot climb out of the hole already. So he's going to starve to death. Now, that is very silly also. That is where you don't want to learn the Dhamma. You don't use the Dhamma as a ladder to get out of this hole, get out of this place where you are stuck. Right? So the Dhamma is meant to be used. How do you use the Dhamma? The 3 trainings. All right. First, you use the Dhamma to purify your speech and body by keeping the precepts. The precept is not to hold you. The precept is to free you. To free you from worrying about, oh dear, I've killed, and then you find you're so worried, and then you can't function, you see. To free yourself. And then there's something else. In order to stop killing, you practice loving kindness. That helps, you see. Then you don't want to steal, because when you steal, you feel shy after a while. People say, hey, they found out you stole, and then they say, well, you got no money to buy your own. And then even though you're rich, there is this stigma, that you have stolen, right? So we don't want that kind of stigma. We want to be free, right? And so on. All the precepts are that they want to free you, your action and your speech. So that's how we use the dhamma. First level, free the body and speech. Second level, the mind. This is the tricky part, the mind. So we meditate, we feel very peaceful, we understand the sutta better, and then when you understand sutta better, you meditate better. It goes back and forth, like they help each other. Okay, so second level of training, second training. Okay, so first training is sila, moral virtue. Second training is samadhi, concentration or meditation. And both of these, when the body and mind are calm, when the body and speech are calm, it's easier to calm the mind. When body, speech, mind are calm, wisdom arises. Wisdom, okay, panya. That's the third training. Wisdom. Wisdom means knowing how to use what you have learned. Knowledge is great, and a lot of people today, a lot of knowledge. Young people know more than older people. You find some of these climate activists, young girl, and the people who are destroying Hong Kong are young people. You see, so young people are kind of taking over the world now. It's their world anyway, right? So we got to grow, right? We got to grow. So this tree training also is like stages of growing. Okay, the mind is what must grow. Then when the mind is cultivated, wisdom arises. What is this wisdom? It's called insight wisdom. So young people may know a lot of things, but they lack that wisdom. They lack that wisdom. It's like wisdom is this. Let's say, we used to play a game in those Buddhist camps those days. Let's say 100 people, and they're broken up into groups of 10 each. Then they are given, let's say, it can be anything, a simple thing, like for example, one piece of toothpick. Each of the group, each of them got one piece of toothpick. Then they are told, okay, you all sit down and discuss, what can you do with these toothpicks? With one toothpick, 50 users, one toothpick. So they all. This is also a way to get them to interact, make friends, talk to each other. So they think, okay, what can I do with one toothpick? Of course, most obvious one is pick your tooth, right? And another one to eat cakes, right? Poke for the cakes. And then another one is what? Maybe something is stuck somewhere. Use it. So that you'll be surprised. Some of these intelligent people, they come up with ideas how to use this little stick, right? So the Dhamma is like that. Wisdom. You see, you understand the precepts, then you tell yourself, okay, why do we keep the precepts? It's not, because I want to be pure. You keep 5, I got 8, or you got 8, I got 10, so I'm more pure than you. It's nothing to do with numbers. And you got these monks who's supposed to keep 227 precepts, but they know none of them. They don't keep. Nowadays there are Vinaya-less monks. You know that most of the Sinhalese monks are Vinaya-less monks. It's common knowledge now, and they're not even afraid to show. They eat in the open in the evening. They're beginning to dress like lay people. They hug women. They use money. So who are the monks or the nuns now? It makes no difference now. You are better monks than nuns now. That's why the commentary by Buddha Gosha says, when you meditate, you attain the level of monkness, bhikkhu bhava. Monkness is a state of mind, not the way you look. Right? You go to Buddhist conferences, I really am scared of going to Buddhist conferences. You see the monks at their worst. They behave just like laymen. Right? You better to sit at home, study suttas. You're closer to the Dhamma. This is what has become now because of this modernization. So you have to choose your path wisely. Wisdom is here in your own home where the sutta is. Wherever you can get the suttas, you will get wisdom. Wisdom is not a place you go to. Wisdom is not a building you go to. A lot of people are carried away by buildings. They think nice buildings, so whatever happens, it must be right. They are blinded, intoxicated. There was one young boy, he was so carried away with this Tooth Talik temple. I said, why do you go there? There's no Dhamma there. He said, oh, it's such a big place, very nice. And he got very angry with me for saying that there's no Dhamma there. So you can see how powerful a big building, this is called a meme, M-E-M-E. A meme is something that feeds itself. It is there to show you, I am big, therefore I am powerful, therefore I am right. That's called a meme. Okay, M-E-M-E. Look up this very interesting new word. Okay, so people are becoming like that nowadays. Very difficult to teach them now. That is why we have to teach them from young to think for themselves. And the funny thing is, the average Western youth and child can think better about these things, but not our Asian children. The reason is because we are kind of following the culture, Western culture, we're a little bit backwards. So we need to catch up. So we need to encourage them to move on a little faster, to learn all these things. Okay? So the Dhamma helps us to mature our way of thinking, look for happiness inside us. All right? So this is the parable of the raft. All right? So you notice there's so much wonderful things to talk about when you talk about all these Dhamma things. Now, the closing part are all Dhamma teachings. Look at section 4. Page 90, mine is 94. What is it? 94, same, eh? Is it 94? Can you see that? Section 4, the 6 grounds of use. At the bottom, can you see that? 6 grounds of use. Bhikshus, there are these 6 grounds of use. What are the 6? Okay, in other words, how do ideas in our minds arise in 6, based on what? On 6 grounds. Here, Bhikshus, an ignorant ordinary person who has no regard for the noble ones. Okay, noble ones are the Arahats and the other saints, including the Buddha, and is unskilled and undisciplined in their Dhamma, who has no regard for the true individuals, the true practitioners, and is unskilled and undisciplined in their Dhamma. See, notice it's their Dhamma, that means that here, theory and practice, okay? And this person has wrong views. This person regards form thus: this is mine, this I am, this is myself. Now you've heard this one before, but this kind of teaching are repeated again and again. Now, when you come for sutta study here like this, it's not just knowledge accumulation, very important. You don't make a list, okay, these are suttas I've learned, 1, 2, 3, wow, I've learned 84,000 suttas. You may become a fool with a big head, that's all. The Buddha says some people, they just hear one word, one sentence, they're wise already, they're awakened. Okay? Some of us, we need to hear a lot. I'm the most ignorant person, I need to learn a lot. Okay? Well, one thing is I enjoy learning, that's why. Okay? So, this person, he has this idea, form. Okay, form includes the body. Okay? Form actually refers to anything that the body is and the body does. What is our body? Our body is made up of eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. 5 things, right? So this is called form, collectively, something you can sense, basically. So for a simple example, our body itself. So this person is very foolish to say, oh, this is my body. Okay? So he walks at the train station, somebody knocking slightly, Says, why you knock at my body? Okay, this is my body, you cannot touch, or something like that. So they're very proud of it, okay? Or they have this idea of being pure, like some of those Brahmins, and that there are other low caste, outcasts, right? So this is the wrong idea, my body. It's not your body, because this body is changing all the time. When you cut your fingernail, you drop on the floor, is that your body? You collect it and keep it then, right? Then this person thinks wrongly. This I am this body. Okay. The moment you say I am, the body shift already. Like you see this movie about a strip of film, everything is changing very fast. When you say I am, it's just a way of talking, right? When you say I, it's one frame, am another frame, different already, something like that. So, of course, in normal language, we say I am this body, but in reality, we're changing all the time. I saw a movie the other day where this person has a very funny mental state where he totally forgets his personality, the old personality. Then a new personality takes over. And this new personality can't remember what the old personality did, you see. So who is he? Very, very confusing, no? Or it's like Changshi says, if you, how is it? Then maybe you're dreaming that you're a butterfly, and or the butterfly is dreaming that you are dreaming that you're a butterfly. Very confusing, no? So basically, these are all ideas we have about ourselves, and these ideas are changing all the time. Okay? So you cannot say, I am this. In fact, I am is bad spiritual grammar. We have a whole language movement, against using this I am. Am, is, are, was, were, all these verbs to be. So they introduced something called E prime language. E prime language. In other words, you use action words. Imagine if someone says, you are bad. Oh, you don't feel happy at all if someone says you are bad. Why? Because if someone says you are bad, wow, that means your whole life until now and into the future, as long as you live, you are bad. That's terrible, isn't it? That's not true, isn't it? So there's no such thing as I am bad. I mean, just because the child broke a cup, say, you are bad. Now, I tell it to my cat also, simple language, I say, bad cat, But then, of course, I can't explain in detail to the cat. Hey, she's a very good listener, but I don't know whether she understands or not. But the point is, if a child breaks a cup and you tell the child you're a bad child, wow, you're saying that just because one little thing that will break anyway, this person is totally condemned. Now, we never think that way, do we? No? When you say I am, M means equal. It's called copula in grammar. I equals this. So how do you correct this? It is not good to break a cup. That's different. See? So always rephrase whatever happens to you that's bad. Let's say you made someone angry. Say, oh, I'm a failure, I'm bad. Wow, you condemn yourself. You must define it properly. What is it that is really troubling you? Number one, okay, let's just take an example. I am sad. Okay, or better still, you don't say I am sad, you say there is sadness here. Okay, this sadness comes from forgetting to make coffee for the boss. Now that's more exact, isn't it? Right? And then you tell yourself, so what's the big deal? I mean, the boss is angry, you're afraid you might lose your job. You see, cause effect, right? And that's what makes this small problem so big. You are a bad person. Can you imagine? This is the meaning here. See, can you see a simple thing like that? This I am is wrong. Okay? So you rephrase the problem that you are facing. Define it properly. This is in fact called problem-oriented solution, right? Not simply, person blaming someone, not blame-oriented. Okay. Now the last one is, this is myself. Okay, here means something unchanging, as if this body is fixed. All right. Of course, I've told you this another example, someone says, this is my body, I own it. In fact, the first one is to own the body. Someone smoke or someone drinks, and you tell the person, please stop smoking, stop drinking, because you are very important to us. And this person say, this is my body, I can do what I like. I have people telling me that, and my answer is quite simple. I say, if you drop dead here, I have to clear your body, So if it's your body, then you please take it with you. I should not be clearing it for you, right? So we cannot say it's my body, because wherever you go, this body is there. It occupies space. You got to take a seat. You got to eat. You buy food, right? So we are all interconnected. That's one meaning here. All right. So there's a lot of important things that you can reflect on. All right. If you miss all this, the YouTube video is available. Download it, watch it, and then just watch that part and then reflect on this. So okay, first you apply body, form. This person has wrong idea. So this is mine, this I am, this is myself. Next one is, since you have a body, you also have feelings, right? Same thing. Said, you hurt my feelings. This is my feelings, right? So again, don't think like that. Don't say this feeling is mine, or I am this feeling, or this feeling is myself, right? And then there is perception. Perception is recognition, how we see things and then recognize it. Okay, this is Buddha's way of very carefully analyzing how we experience our body and mind. Now, number 4, he regards formations as this is mine, this I am, this is myself. Formation here refers to the karma, your intentions, whether you are filled with greed, hate, delusion, and you act on it. Karma formations. The last one is your consciousness. Now, notice consciousness is not mentioned here. Instead of consciousness, you have aspects of consciousness. Number 5. He regards what is seen, heard, sensed, known. This is mine, this I am, this is myself. So this is how we experience the 5 senses or 6 senses working together. You see things, you hear things, you sense things. Sense here is a common word for all those senses that work with impact. For example, body, impact. Okay, you sense the impact. And then the nose, smell, the sense molecules impact the nose. And then sound, impact of vibrations. So these 3, according to the commentary, sense means that. Okay, all this, the 3 remaining one, in other words. So you have seen, heard, and then the other 3 senses combined become sense. Okay, this is to simplify. It is early Buddhist psychology. You imagine early Buddhism has got all this amazing formula. This is what surprised the modern psychologists, that something 2,500 years old can be so systematic, and not just haphazardly, very systematic. Okay, and then the last one is known. That is how the mind works. Okay, so some people say, oh, this is what I know, this is me, I am this. So Buddha said, no, these are all, you got to let go of all this. Okay. Now, the number 5, he regards what is seen, heard, sensed, known, found, sought after, mentally pursued. Okay, so in other words, these are desirable things. The sensing, because we desire these things, so we say, oh, this is mine. And then there is number 6, and this ground for views, namely the world is the self after death. So this one, there is an extra wrong view. 5, first you have the 5 aggregates, and then the last one is this idea that the whole world is a self. This one, the Buddha is addressing a very common wrong view in his time, where they believe that there is a universal soul. The whole universe is a soul. So Buddha said, no such thing. Where is it? These are just ideas which the Brahmins introduced. So that after death, this person will go back into this heaven-like universal soul, which will be permanent, everlasting, eternal, unchanging in nature, eternally the same, And then he has the wrong view. I will endure as long as eternity. Right? Okay, this is called the eternalist view. Okay, I won't change. All right. I once heard a very intelligent young boy made a very interesting reply. He says, "Wow, I mean, says eternalism doesn't make sense. I don't want to have eternal life." He says, "It's horrible. Imagine you're run over by a steamroller and you don't die. It's terrible." He says, I mean, because this eternal life cannot die. So, no matter how you get hurt, you're going to suffer, right? So a lot of people come up with these ideas. They don't think of the consequences of that idea. So Buddha said no such thing. So the Buddha didn't think about it and come up with all these ideas. Okay, say, oh, this is a very grand idea, But he looks around and see whatever is put together is of a nature to break, right? Whatever is there, they are the elements. They are all very fluid and volatile. This is a reflection on impermanence. Okay. So summarize everything into one word is impermanence. Very simple to remember. The first of the three characteristics. Now the Buddha talks about something new about, can we worry about something outside that doesn't exist? Can we worry about something doesn't exist? Now imagine the question. You might say, of course not. Why should I worry about something that doesn't exist? But on the contrary, we often do. Let's find out how. 18 rather. When this was said, a certain monk asked the Blessed One, Bhante, can there be anxiety, can there be worry over what is non-existent externally? Can we worry about something that doesn't worry outside, that exists outside of us? Then the Buddha replies, there can be bhikshus. Then the Buddha explains, 18.2. Here bhikshus, someone thinks thus, alas, I had it. Alas, I have it no longer. Alas, may I have it. Alas, I cannot have it. Then he sorrows, grieves and laments. He weeps, beating his breast. He becomes distraught. That is how there is anxiety over what is non-existent externally. Okay? So in other words, when we don't have something, let's say you want to have this nice clock, but you don't have this clock. Say, oh, we wonder can have this clock. I want to have this clock. So you don't have it, so you feel upset, you feel worried. Of course, in Singapore, you want to have a house, you cannot get a house. Yeah, of course, you also worry about that. You don't have it. It's something external. Okay? So the idea is just that it come. All right? If it doesn't come, it's all right. 19. Bhante, can there be no anxiety over what is non-existent externally? Right. So this monk now asks the following question, positive one. How do we stop worrying such things? Answer is very simple. The Buddha says, well, here, bhikshus, the person doesn't think in this way. You don't say, oh, I had this, now I don't have it. You don't think like that. You say it's all in the past. All right? And then one thing you do not know, when I was living in Malaysia, I have a house full of books, I think about 3 times this room, all books, like a library, And I think with the money we bought that book, you can buy a house. I can't bring all the books here, too many. Okay? And also, I was not allowed to bring it here because the committee said cannot. Okay? So, I didn't bring the books, right? But then it's no problem because now when I came back to Singapore, information technology has changed so much. Almost every book that I use can be found in the computer. Is digitalized. So I have a lot of books in my house, hundreds of thousands of books in my house. The Tipitaka we have very complete Tipitaka there that I need, see? And you all are getting with the Thai Tipitaka and so on, right? So that is the old style, the hard copy, we say, which is very easy to use, direct access. But the point is, all these things can disappear. See, cockroach can bite, and you get the wrong kind of paper, especially what's called acidic paper. No? Silverfish also. All these bugs that eat your books, and the acidic paper burns, oxidizes. And if you leave it like that for decades, the burning will spread and eats up other books, and the books are gone. So you have to take care of books too. So nowadays there are rules. Some country they make a rule. When you print books, you must use good paper. You cannot use acidic paper. So all these are impermanent. You can lose all these things. But although I've lost all those books, I can still work because, yes, partly the ideas in my head, and I know where to locate the suttas, the teachings. So you didn't lose anything really. In fact, what my usual reflection is? I say, wow, look at all these suttas I've done. Look at all these books I've collected. When the world's end comes, the end of the kalpa, the whole universe collapse, everything will be gone anyway. No matter how nice, how great our work, all are gone. So we got to keep all this inside our mind. Then it will not be lost. So if you say, when's your latest sutta coming out? You collect while you keep your house. Wow, all the sutta is there like the National Library. But then you never learn it, you see. Then the Buddha say you are like a spoon that carries the soup but does not taste the soup. Okay? On the other hand, if you study the Dhamma, and you might not even have the book, so you give your book away to someone, then you are like the tongue that tastes the soup. Right? So these are very beautiful analogies in the Dhammapada. Alright, so there you are. We don't have to worry about losing things out there which are not ours anyway. Next, 20. So this monk asks another question. Bhante, can there be anxiety over when something is non-existent internally? What about inside us? Now the Buddha says yes. 20.2. Here, bhikshus, the view, the world is the self. After death, I will be permanent, everlasting, eternal, and so on. So this is the view the person holds. And then he hears the Buddha or the Buddha's disciple teaching the Dhamma for elimination of all fixations to the grounds for views, mindsets, obsessions, inclinations, and latent tendencies. So, in other words, he hears the Dhamma that talks about letting go of ideas. Let go of ideas, don't think too much about them. So that your whole mind is peaceful. The stilling of formation, that means to calm all your thoughts and mind. For the relinquishing of all attachments, all things that will let go of all attachments, we feel very happy. So that craving is totally, we let go of all craving, no more craving. For the fading away of lust, for the ending of suffering, for nirvana. So he hears this teaching, Then when he hears it, he says, oh no, my idea is gone, my self will be no more. He gets very worried. He said, well, no more self. How? He gets very worried. He has created this phantom that there is a soul, a self. Buddha said no such thing. He gets very worried. He said, oh no, what's going to happen to me? Nothing's going to happen to you. It's just an idea that you have, you see? Right? So, but the Buddha said, yeah, this is something that doesn't exist inside the person, but he's worried about it. What is it? It's your view. Notice, this is very common, right? People like to worry about things, right, which don't exist. Isn't it? Right? Oh, will I pass my exam or not? Will I fail? Whether you think or don't think, the results will come out anyway. So why waste your time thinking? Right? Then, 21, the monk asks, Bhante, can there be no anxiety over what is non-existent internally? So how do we overcome this? Something inside us that does not exist. Quite simple. Here, we let go of all these wrong views. Like some people, they're so worried. They say, oh yeah, I don't know whether I pray correctly for my grandmother who passed away. We didn't offer enough gold ingots, And then this Chinese custom, gold ingots, and we didn't give enough money, don't know whether she got enough money to spend in hell or not. I mean, they are so worried, right? But these are all superstition, just beliefs, right? So in Buddhism we say, when someone dies, you gather together with a loving heart. It's just like you welcome a baby with love. You send off the person also with love. The person is already gone, already dead, already born, maybe reborn elsewhere if the karma is good. If the person is still attached, the consciousness will be floating around, and that's why maybe you keep on sending your thoughts of loving kindness to this person. That's the best you can do. Okay? Not to burn all those things. Alright? Alright, then 22. Bhikshus, you may well take hold of that possession that is permanent, everlasting, eternal, unchanging in nature, that would endure eternally, the same last like that. But do you see any such possession, Bhikshus? I mean, if there is something permanent, if there's something permanent, unchanging, it's wonderful to have it. But do you see such a thing anywhere? Is there something that doesn't change, that is fixed, that will never break? Is there such a thing? Do you think there is? Right? The Buddha asked a very simple question, right? So no such thing, right? So the Buddha said, there you are, there's no such thing. So why worry about such things? 23. Bhikshus, you may well cling to a self-doctrine, right? So idea of the self, that would not cause sorrow, lamentation, in other words, suffering. Now, if there is such a self, that is happy, doesn't bring you any suffering, it's wonderful to have such a self. But is there such a self, the Buddha asked? Have you seen such a self? There's no such self. So why are you worried about all these things? So let go of all these ideas. All right? Now then, 24. Bhikshus, you may well rely on the support of views that would not cause sorrow, lamentation, suffering, in other words. So any kind of view, if you see that this view can make you happy, good, you hold on to it. I mean, keep it as long as you're happy, but then you find that there is no such view, because all views change, right? So here the Buddha is saying that all views are impermanent, changing. So 25, similarly, there's no such thing as a self, unchanging thing. Is there anything as that's not changing, whether in the mind or in the body? Okay? Or something that belongs to the self. Okay, this is the idea. This very simple philosophical analysis. Let's just ask ourselves this basic question. If there is something permanent in us, it must be either the body or the mind. Correct? Nothing else. Either body or mind. Do you agree? Anything more? Did I miss out anything? Nothing, right? Either body or mind. That's already our whole being. Alright, you can choose either one. Okay? This is how I answered the question. I was this very intelligent doctor. He told me, he says, I can accept Buddhism totally, except this one problem bugging me. This idea of the self, the soul. How can we be sure there's no such thing as the soul? So I said, okay, it's wonderful, you're very intelligent. I give a very simple example. So, okay, if there is something permanent, a self or a soul, something unchanging, it must be in the body or in the mind. Do you agree? I say, okay. All right, I say you choose one. Which one do you think the permanent thing will be, body or mind? Okay, you choose. Which one do you think, body or mind?
Nothing.
I'm assuming you have to choose one. Okay?
You have to choose one.
Yeah, assuming just for mind. Mind, all right? Okay, then the Buddha says, okay, mind, you have feeling, perception, formation, consciousness, right? 4 things. You can choose anyone. Okay? Anyone that you choose, they're all impermanent, they're all changing. So, what is there? to say it of something fixed and unchanging. Feeling is changing, perception is changing, formations are changing, consciousness is changing. Even if you take the body, the body is made up of 4 elements. The 4 elements are changing. The body is made up of, you can speak of the 5 senses. The 5 senses are also changing. So there you are, very comprehensive, right? Very simple, very logical. Now the Buddha goes on to summarize to us once again the characteristics of the aggregates. Okay, this one as usual, we'll do a bit of Sutta Puja because now remember, it's not just knowing the Dhamma, you must feel it. Sometimes you got to forget the knowing, just listen to the words. Remember the words that one day as you look around in life, something will strike you and you say, that's it. I know this. And then you see it out there. So I will read the Sutta part and you reply, okay? 26. You are the bhikshus, huh? Bhikshus, what do you think? Is form permanent or impermanent? Impermanent. Is what is impermanent painful or pleasurable? Painful. Is what is impermanent painful and subject to change fit to be regarded thus? This is mine, this I am, this is myself? No. Bhikshus, what do you think? Is feeling permanent or impermanent? Impermanent. Is what is impermanent painful or pleasurable? Painful. Is what is impermanent, painful, and subject to change fit to be regarded thus? This is mine, this I am, this is myself? No. Bhikshus, what do you think? Is perception permanent or impermanent? Impermanent. Is what is impermanent painful or pleasurable? Painful. Is what is impermanent, painful, and subject to change fit to be regarded thus? This is mine, this I am, this is myself? No. Bhikshus, what do you think? Are formations permanent or impermanent? Impermanent. Is what is impermanent painful or pleasurable? Painful. Is what is impermanent, painful, and subject to change fit to be regarded thus? This is mine, this I am, this is myself? No. Bhikshus, what do you think? Is consciousness permanent or impermanent? Impermanent. Is what is impermanent, painful, or pleasurable? Painful. Is what is impermanent, painful, and subject to change fit to be regarded thus? This I am, this is myself? No. Right, so there you are. This is a reflection on the 5 aggregates, our being. Now, the Buddha assures us that this truth is not just a bit here, a bit there. It's the all of existence. So this is called the totality formula. Totality. Section 27. Therefore, bhikshus, any kind of form whatsoever. Okay, look at this. They come as a set. Whether they are past, future, or present. In terms of time. Okay. Internal or external. Internal means inside your mind. External is what you see outside. Okay. Gross or subtle. Here, in other words, here you see it with the sense. It impinges on the senses, and then gross on your physical senses. Subtle is your mind. Okay, it appears as thought. Inferior or superior. Here, inferior refers to the world of senses. Superior is the higher world in terms of meditation, the jhanas and so on. Far or near, this in terms of distance, right? Nearby you can see, far away, another part of the universe. Here, what the Buddha is trying to say, any kind of 5 aggregates. This is totally defined, right? You can look at the notes there for the detail. Right? There are numbers there, look at the bottom. So nothing escaped this net of truth, right? So all forms should be seen as they really are, with right wisdom thus. This is not mine, this I am not, this is not myself. Okay? If you can't remember all the three, remember the last one, this is not myself. Right? So just now, this applies to form, the same thing applies to feeling, to perception, to formations, and to consciousness. All right. Now, so the Buddha said, when you have understand this thing, that all this body and mind, aspects of body and mind, they are like this. You can't own them. How do you feel? You say, oh, now I know why there is suffering. Right? You are no more trouble when the cup breaks, or you lose your precious books, or the computer breaks down. Computer breakdown is a bit difficult, but you're calm, relaxed. Okay? So this is where you are being tested, you see, in a sense. How calm are you? So you learn to be calm, right? Because you know these things are conditioned, there's so many parts, so they're bound to have problems. People also are made of so many parts, so they're bound to sometimes behave funny, right? So you have to understand that. So this is called nibbida. Nibbida, that means you say, oh, that's the way they are, don't be carried away. You feel, you don't want that kind of thing. All right? And yet you are not troubled by it. Feeling revolves, last fades away. Okay. Revolves. Nibbida. If you translate nibbida, it simply means disgust, revulsion. Scholars think, wow, this is such a powerful word, we should use something nicer, maybe like a disillusion and so on. But here again, good old Ajahn Chah says, if it is dung, it smells just as bad. It's dung. So whatever name you call it, it still smells bad. Okay? So in other words, it's very important to give this word its due. If you make it very nice, then the effect is gone. Dung is smelly, right? No matter what word you use. You're not going to put it on your dining table, would you? Very silly, right? Yeah, you say, that's terrible. Okay? So evil is like that. You don't have anything to do with evil. You say, yeah, this is smelly, rotten. This is called nibbida. You'll never break the precept. When your friend tells you, hey, let's go and get plastered, let's go and get drunk, whatever, I say, oh, no. I already learned this, Nibbida, okay? All right? Disgust. No? So, I'm going to get into serious trouble. I don't want that. Not worth it. Not worth it. So, 29. Feeling revolves, lust fades away. Right? So, this is a very powerful way of getting rid of desire, bad desire. Through the fading away of lust, you are freed. Okay, I'm saying this so that you can relate to it. When you are freed, there comes the knowledge. It is freed. Actually, in Pali, you just say freed. That's all, one word only. Free, So you're very happy. You say free. You don't say this is free or that is free. Free, okay? Because there's no self, is it? Right? No? Okay. He knows birth is destroyed. The holy life has been lived. Done what is to be done. There is no more of this state of being, no more rebirth. This is the Arahat, of course, right? Okay, this is the last part. So now we are coming near the end of the sutta, already very near. So the Buddha is talking about the Arahat, the saint who understands all this, the five aggregates and so on. The Buddha uses various analogies, various parables. The sutta has got a lot of parables. 30. Bhikshus, this monk, okay, so this monk, the practitioner, is said to be one who has lifted the crossbar, right? So the Arahat is one, the crossbar has been lifted. So too is he one who has filled in the moat. A moat is like a pool of water all around the castle, right, to protect the castle. And they normally have crocodiles, snakes, and dangerous fishes in there to prevent enemies from crossing over. So the Arhat is one who has dug out the pillar. All right, the pillar is no more there. The Arhat is one who has unbolted the door. Okay, this one is a city door open already. The Arhat is a noble one whose banner is lowered. Okay, these are all what I call battle analogy. Okay, so when the battle is over, we bring down the banner. Okay, in other words, the enemy is defeated. Mara is defeated, so he has to bring down the standard, the banner. The Arhat is one who has put down the burden. Okay, this one is no more burden. We are free. Don't have to carry this load anymore. And the last one is one word only: unfettered. No more chains. Totally free. So this is the thesis, and then the next section, everything is explained one by one. 31. And how bhikshus is the monk one who has lifted the crossbar? Here, bhikshus, the monk has abandoned ignorance, cut off at the root, made a palm stump of it, done away with it, so that it is no longer subject to future arising. That is how bhikshus, the monk, is one who has lifted up the crossbar. So crossbar here, it blocks the gate. Okay? For example, you come to the checkpoint, you cannot go ahead, your car has to stop there because there's a crossbar, see? Right? But the crossbar has gone up now. So here the crossbar represents ignorance. The Arhat has overcome ignorance, right? Next one, 32. And how, before that, notice the Buddha says his ignorance is totally uprooted, right? Cut at the stump. So, this pinang tree, coconut tree, once you cut at the stump, it won't grow anymore. Okay? Not like banana tree. Banana tree is different, You cut at the bottom, it still grows because the what I call suckers underground. So these are the palm trees. So other trees are uprooted, the palm tree is cut at the stump. That means totally no chance of ignorance coming back. 32, the monk or the Arhat is one who has filled the moat. All the water is filled up. Here, bhikshus, the monk has abandoned the rounds of rebirth. All totally normal rebirth, free from the suffering of rebirth. Because the moat is like a circle, it goes round and round. Okay, that's one way of looking at it. 33, and how bhikshus is the monk one who has dug out the pillar? Now this is the city pillar. The city pillar is the most important one. So once the city pillar is dug out, the city has fallen. So here, craving is gone. No more desire for negative things, that is. There is no more this feeling that something is missing in his life. Okay, the craving is gone. Next, 34. And how bhikshus is the monk or Arhat is one who has unbolted the door. Here it refers to the 5 lower fetters are all gone. Okay, the 5 lower fetters is what prevents a person from becoming a non-returner. And then the 35, and how bhikshus is the monk one who has taken down the flag. Right, so once you take down the flag, battle over already. And these are the idea of I am conceit. The idea of the self is all gone. Okay? So the last 10 fetters are all summarized in this one. So here basically the Arhat is totally free from all this idea of the self and so on. Right? Now in the next section, section 7, the Buddha is telling us not to misrepresent him. Do not give the wrong teaching. Alright? 37. Saying thus, bhikshus, teaching thus, I have been baselessly, vainly, falsely, and wrongly accused by some recluses and Brahmins that the recluse Gotama is one who leads astray he teaches annihilation, the destruction, the extermination of an existing individual, right? So here the Buddha say, although I've been teaching all these things, people say the wrong things. They say, oh, I teach that you should destroy this personality that you have. And he said, I didn't teach such things. And now he makes a very famous statement about his teaching, section 38. So what is it that the Buddha teach? The Buddha said, this is what I teach. Before bhikshus, and now too, I only declare suffering and the ending of suffering. So the Four Noble Truths summarized into two, right? So in other words, suffering here represents truth number 1 and 2, and the ending of suffering is 3 and 4. Okay. If others were to abuse, revile, scold, and harass the Tathagata for that, the Tathagata on that account feels no annoyance, bitterness, or nor dejection of heart. So the Buddha says, people can say what they like. I'm calm. So because I know this is a teaching. So if others are to attack us also, right? Say, oh, we all talk bad things and so on. You notice so far, no matter what people try to attack about Buddhism, you find that we always have the answer. We are not troubled by it because we know what the Buddha says is true, right? Of course, they can talk minor things. For example, they will say, oh, why is Christmas? People are so happy, and then you all never Vesak Day, you are different. Well, it's because Christmas is a very commercial celebration, right? This one day in the year people get drunk, for example. Whereas Vesak Day, that's one day we all really keep the precepts. So we all try to go to temple, and we try to eat vegetarian food and so on, right? So the effects got opposite. Okay? But that's a very worldly kind of thing, you see. But when it comes to teachings, if you understand the teaching very well, we're not troubled when people attack it. We know these people do not really know the Dhamma. But if you know the Dhamma, you're not worried about all this. All right? So this is the section. Whatever it is, be careful not to misrepresent the Buddha's teaching. So, 40, the Buddha make another famous statement. The summary is not yours. Okay? This is very good to remember, very helpful. 40. Therefore, here bhikshus, let go or give up of what is not yours. When you have if you have given it up, it would be for the welfare and happiness for a long time. What is it that is not yours? Form is not yours. Give it up. Let it go. When you have given it up, it will be for your welfare and happiness for a long time. Feeling is not yours. Give it up. Let it go. Perception is not yours. Give it up. Let it go. Formations are not yours. Give them up. Let them go. Consciousness is not yours. Give it up. When you have given it up, it will be for your welfare and happiness for a long time. So here, this is a mental attitude. Let go of the attachment. It doesn't mean you throw away your body. I mean, how can we throw away our body, right? Let go of the attachment. Let go of the worries. Then you are not sick. I mean, you are sick, but you are not worried by the sickness. Okay, for example. Then the Buddha gives very rare, very beautiful parable. This is called the Jetavana parable. 41. Bhikshus, what do you think? If people carried off the grass, sticks, branches, and leaves in this Jetavana, or burned them, did they what they like with them? Would you think people are carrying us off or burning us or doing what they like with us, right? So the Buddha said, if they clear all this rubbish and so on, burn them, would you say they are removing things from you? Of course not, right? Why not? And then this is the monk's answer, because Bhante, there is neither self nor the property of self. So not the monks understand, so they reply. They say, you don't identify with these things. They can burn all this rubbish, no problem, especially when it's rubbish. So here the Buddha reaffirms, what is not yours? The 5 aggregates are not ours. Form is not mine. Feeling is not mine. Perception is not mine. Formation is not mine. And consciousness is not mine. Okay? So in other words, how do we apply this? Next time you're angry, anger is the easiest, Next time you're angry, just number one, accept the anger. Say, this is anger. Okay? This anger is not mine. Mindfully tell yourself that. You will see it disappear very fast. I think long ago I told you the story. I was walking in the train station, remember? I nearly knocked down one lady because we were walking fast. Remember another story? One of the first stories I told. Okay, anyway, some of you are not here. Let me quickly tell a little story again, okay? I was walking fast. I usually walk fast, especially in the train station. The idea of saving time. Then everybody also walk fast. And nobody wants to give way, not like Thailand, they see your elder, they give way. Here, everybody tries to cut in, So, there was this lady, and some of them don't look where they're going. So, this lady was coming near me, and I almost fell. So, I just quickly stopped, and I almost lost my balance. And I was quite annoyed at that moment, Then I said, why do they just cut off your trail like that? I nearly fell. I could have, just put my foot forward and then she would have fallen, Doesn't she know that? Then there's one voice in my head says, yes, you should have done that. Because you put your foot there and the let her fall, Then another voice said, cannot talk like that. Wait, what if your students find out? And then you say, why Dhamma teacher like this? So this very interesting conversation, And that's only a few seconds, because I'm standing there, the escalator is going up, you see. And I said, okay, what do I do now? What did the Buddha teach us to do? This is not mine. Letting this go, letting the anger go. You see? Just like that, it's gone, you see. So anger is the easiest to clear away, as long as you don't feed it, right? That's the meaning here. Now the Buddha talks about the various kinds of saying. This is the last part. So this is the fruit of all of his teachings. 42. Bhikshus, the teaching well proclaimed by me is plain, open, clear. Okay, now let's finish up with section 8. This is where the Buddha summarizes everything and shows the benefit of his teaching, how the saints, the noble saints, benefit from the teaching. In other words, you follow all these teachings the Buddha has given, you become one of the noble saints. 42. Bhikshus, the teaching well proclaimed by me is plain, open, clear, free from patchwork. Okay? So here the Buddha is saying the Dhamma is quite clear, but the language is very simple. You look at it, you can understand at least the words. Open, there's no secret teachings. Clear, the teaching, if you look carefully, it explains itself. Okay? And then free from patchwork. It doesn't take things here and then put together and make it look very impressive, right? So if you follow this, there is no more round of existence for those bhikshus who are arahats, the influxes destroyed, who have lived the holy life, done what is to be done, laid down the burden, reached their own goal, destroyed the fetters of being, who are completely freed through final knowledge. They're totally liberated, fully awakened. These are the arahats, first kind of saint. Second kind of saint, so here again the Buddha said, okay, my teaching is simple, clear, and so on. And these monks, look at the underlined words, 43 underlined words. Third line, those monks who, with the destruction of the 6 lower fetters, are spontaneously reborn in the pure abodes, and there attain final nirvana without ever returning from that world. So in the ancient text, the non-returner is not mentioned, but this is how they are mentioned. They go to this special place of rebirth, and they don't come back to earth from there. Okay, this is a dimension in time. These are the non-returners. Okay, they are just below the arahats. 44 bhikshus. Further down, there are those monks with the destruction of the three fetters. Okay, this one is very important for lay people. Three fetters: overcome self-identity view, doubt and attachment to rituals and vows. Then you minus or weaken the three unwholesome roots a bit, greed, hate, delusion, weaken a bit, then you become a once returner, one more life and then finish already. And the last one is you break the three fetters, then you are stream winners, no longer bound for the lower world, sure of going over to self-awakening. So matter of time, you will reach the path to awakening. So this is the stream winner. So stream winner is the best path for us in this life. That's the first step on the path. But before that, you can be a stream winner in either of two ways. One is truth follower. You can see 46, truth follower. That means you study Dhamma, you reflect on the teaching using wisdom. Or faith follower. You say, oh, I understand impermanence, I accept it as it is. Okay? So because impermanence is true, you look around, it's not like God idea, you got to prove it. Impermanence is everywhere. Almost no need to prove. So you follow these two ways, whether through wisdom or through faith. You reflect on impermanence, you become a stream winner. But here there's something bonus extra, something like for our new year here. This is a new year gift from the Buddha, okay? 47, bhikshus, the teaching are well proclaimed, etc. And then the Buddha say, if you follow the teaching, there are those who have just a bit of faith, just a bit of love for me, all bound for heaven. Okay. Here the Buddha is actually, I think, saying something almost tongue-in-cheek, because go to heaven also is impermanent, right? But what the Buddha is saying, if you even have an open mind, you don't have wrong views, even though you don't practice the Dhamma fully, your rebirth will be good. So, which religion teaches this? You don't follow Buddhism also, you'll still be born in heaven if you are kind to people. In a sense, what the Buddha is saying is, you must be positive, you see. Faith here basically means that you believe that good will work, all right? Or you have this, what the Buddha is saying, if you have a positive attitude to the teacher, to the Buddha means to the Dhamma also, you'll be reborn in a happy state. But no promises of the path at this point, because that means you will come back, you see. So you have to go on doing good deeds. But that's a very positive ending. So the Buddha is saying, even if you practice very simple Buddhism, you still gain good rebirth. Faith and love. Okay, love here means, of course, metta in the normal sense of the meaning. So the sutta ends there. The Blessed One said this, satisfied, the monks rejoice in the Blessed One's word. Sadhu. Very two lessons, very long. Okay, any questions you want to ask? 9:30, just nice. Yes, David.
About this underlying word, spontaneously reborn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
So only there's only one kind of rebirth, spontaneous.
Oh, here it refers to the kind of rebirth. They are not born of parents. Technically, there's a term that I learned in school. It's called parthenogenesis. I wonder you heard of it. That means they're born without parents, non-biological. They're not human. These are, of course, in the case of science, parthenogenesis is talking about simpler organisms. But here, what do you call it, non-returners, they arise like devas. Okay? They pop appear like that. That's called spontaneous rebirth. According to time comes, they just arise. like mushrooms, if you like. Okay, that's one way of putting it.
So how about other plane of existence? They
Technically speaking, if you take the term spontaneously born, generally refers to all devas. Okay, but in this case, specifically refer to the non-returners. When they say spontaneously reborn, the term only refer to the non-returners, because although the devas are born in the same way, the word is not used there, but it's understood like when people ask questions, they say, well, that's the way they are born, same way. But in the case of the devas, they will return. See? They go in a cycle, but not non-returners, because their karma is such that they just finish off their karma at that level. So they exist in this very special, what do you call that, like Star Trek kind of universe, if you like, a different dimension. It's not really, I don't know, you can call it a planet or a kind of, a dimension is better, it's easier to understand today. So these are the non-returners. Okay?
So since non-returners eliminated all the 5 lower factors.
Yes, 5 lower factors.
So does it mean that they are not subjected to karma?
Very minimal, yeah. They won't be created. They won't create any new bad karma. So they are finishing off their past karma. So that they go through all the different stages of heaven. You know, there are, I think, 5 heaven in the pure abodes. You look in the footnotes for non-returners. There are lots of cross references here. You can look at the files online, or you can ask us. We can get you the files also. Any other questions? Yes.
Just how?
Give her turn. Yeah.
How to actually let go of
Consciousness. Okay, here you can't really let go of consciousness unless you're enlightened. Let go of the attachment to consciousness. That means, let's say, we experience cold, warm, like that. So we just take it like that. We don't get upset with it. We notice it. Because the easiest example is like feeling cold and warm. You know, that is body consciousness. And then another one, this is broader, in other words. So mind consciousness will be thoughts coming, and you just see, okay, these are thoughts coming, and then you let go of them. So you see all this as processes of the senses working. Then you hear a sound. Sometimes you hear noisy neighbors or what, Then you say, oh, it's just sound. Okay, sound. And then you let it go. Notice you get angry when you are not mindful. You forget to reflect. You say, oh yeah, these people are so noisy, right? And then you scold them in your mind. But then you say, oh, it's just, it's sound, that's all. So why do I worry about all this? Okay? So this on a very basic level, consciousness, all the consciousness, the 6 kind of consciousness arising. So you try to notice any one of them at one time. You can't notice more than one. Right? Anything else? Yes, David.
Just now you want us to choose the mind of the body, right?
Yes.
So there is a term mind body.
Oh, yeah. My body is called a dvandva. Dvandva, that means it's what they call a copulative compound, a twin compound, mind and body. It's not mind equals body. It refers to 2 things, a pair.
It's a form, subtle form of mind body.
No, mind body is just a term, our existence, our mind body existence. Or another way of putting it, we are made up of mind and body. Okay? I wouldn't say it is subtle, it's just the way we are. So it's called a mind body existence. It's a way of talking the human existence, mind body.
Being is made up of mind body.
Mind body,
Being,
yeah. A being is made up of mind and body. So we say mind, body, being. It's just an adjective. Nothing technical about it. Okay?
Because I read one Sutta, the Buddha, when he noticed.
Oh yes, I see what you mean. That's different. That's very interesting. You see, the mind body. It's not mind and body. Here is the mind collectively as a body. That is something else. That's different. That one refers to actually I would say one meaning is the mental aggregates lah. So that we call namakaya. Okay, if we say mind body in the normal sense, be nama rupa. Those are a little technical lah. Yes. Okay. So once you count these technical things, you can look up. There is a little book called Buddhist Dictionary. Many of the terms are there. It's a simple dictionary, freely available online. So if you need it, we can just send it to you, PDF. And of course, you also can get it in the footnotes. Very often we put it in the footnotes.
I read your view on the Chinese writings.
What writing?
Your objection to the Chinese view. You wrote on this page 79 on that. And very, very excellent written.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy you're happy.
Good, you are right in a manner that is non-offensive.
Oh.
And it's politically correct.
Well, what page is it again? 79, is it?
79.
Section?
5411.
5411. Okay, right at the top. Oh,
Very good.
Alexander Wynne. Yeah, sometimes it's quite difficult to, say people they are wrong, so we've got to write in a nice way, proper way, sensible way. Yes.
Because you use the Sutta to rebut.
Yes. Yeah, I always, when you Sutta, you're safe. Actually, it's a cowardly way. You don't want to get into trouble, so you quote the Sutta. They want to blame the Buddha. They can't get the Buddha, Of course, sometimes we have no choice but to say our view because there's no other way. Okay, so then let your karma protect you lah. And old age, we also feel as we grow old, we are more brave to talk. Because we don't have much time. If we don't talk, then it'll be too late. Then no chance to talk. Too bad.
You use Sutta as evidence, right?
Yes. Yes. Sutta as evidence. Common sense as evidence. Even better still. Okay. In fact, if you see my Facebook, I use a lot of common sense nowadays. So write it, and then you find there's a lot of these people they can relate to it. Because it is something very simple, Okay, any other points to anything not sure? Okay, we end here then. We do a closing for this very special last lesson of the year. And also to welcome the year 2020, very special year. If you have made it thus far, it's really wonderful. You have created so much good karma for yourself. You have done good karma in the past, now you can use it again to build even better good karma. You will one day see the beauty of it all, that inner peace, the ability to use all this knowledge, turning them into wisdom, so that you are also of benefit to others, to bring them happiness through self-understanding. When we understand the self, we also learn to free the self. And that is called awakening. Reflecting in this way, let us invoke the blessing of the three jewels. By the power of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, may we be well and happy. May our practice progress smoothly, fully. May we at least be blessed with courage and strength to aspire to stream winning in this life itself. May our relatives and loved ones to be well and happy. May they grow wisely in wisdom. May they too see the true light of reality. May our teachers and other practitioners to be well and happy and taste the rich fruit of their practice in this life itself. And let us also spend a few moments to send our loving kindness to our relatives and friends who are not well, who are sick, who are recovering, Do this whenever you can, especially before sleeping, and if possible upon waking, or anytime you feel like it, or anytime you're doing puja, at the end of your meditation. Wish him well and happy. All your relatives who are sick or lost or having difficulties. And finally, those people who are lost, those monks and nuns who have difficulties, may they see the true teaching, be inspired to follow the right way, and see the fruit of the Buddha Dhamma in this life itself. And may we see a beautiful new and blessed year to come, 2020. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.